New era. Mayor-elect Justin Bibb comes to the WKYC Studios to tell us about his plans to make Cleveland better.
And how NASA's ideas for connectivity on the moon could help neighborhoods right here in Cuyahoga County. Thanks for staying with us. What's New starts right now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
There's a lot of action in the studio today. A lot of people standing by. There is a ton of news to get to, but welcome everybody to What's New. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Russ Mitchell, who's in for Jay once again.
It is great to be here. A lot of buzz in the studio.
So much.
As you said. It's been an extremely busy day. Our Mark Namick sat down with Mayor-elect Justin Bibb. Plus, we have what's new on the vaccine front for kids 5 to 11 years old.
But first, we are going to get it all going with a lot of developing news coming from the Browns. The future of Odell Beckham on the team may be in question. There's been drama surrounding his dad posting a video pointing the finger at Baker.
The voice of the Browns, our own Jimmy Donovan, joined us now to tell us all about this. Jimmy, as the Browns turn.
Absolutely. You know, I put in for the Justin Bibb story today. And I ended up with this one. I think Odell Beckham Jr.'s days with the Browns are over.
Wow.
And I think those meetings are going on right now. Meetings going on between Odell Beckham Jr., his representatives, and Andrew Berry, the general manager of the Browns, and probably Paul DePodesta. And I would also think that ownership would have to weigh in on this to come up with an agreement to have him split from the Cleveland Browns. How did we get here? Yesterday, OBJ's dad, not OBJ, but his dad, shared this video on YouTube. It was a very well put together video, a highly produced video, like an X's and O coaches film, showing different times during the season, numbering pretty high, where Odell Beckham Jr. is wide open and the football does not go his way at all. And then the theme was that Baker Mayfield was snubbing OBJ to the point where OBJ's dad said, I don't think Baker wants OBJ on the team. Well, that infuriated the Browns when the video came out yesterday because it was up for so long, and even OBJ himself made no move to tell his dad to take that down. As for Baker Mayfield, he's sitting, nursing that sore shoulder. He was rocked by it.
Hurt? No. Surprised? Yes. I think there's different things that play a factor into it. I've had conversations with his dad before, man-to-man, face-to-face, and I was pretty surprised by the video and the intentions and the feelings behind it. I'd be lying if I said otherwise, but hurt? No, I'm good. I'll be all right.
All right, so the day went on today. The Browns had a very important practice today. This is the biggest game of the season coming up, a survival game down in Cincinnati Sunday against the Bengals. Andrew Berry called up Odell Beckham Jr. and said, don't come to Berea. You're excused from practice. And it sounds like until further notice. And that notice may be coming probably within the next few hours. And so Beckham was not with the team and is not expected to be with the team as they get ready for this game and probably the rest of the season. We'll get to the workout of how the post-exit agreement has to be put together. But really, for Kevin Stefanski, this is the really first dilemma of his young head coaching career.
We talk a lot about things in the team meetings, with the players, individually. There's conversations, but our team is focused on the task at hand.
And the task at hand is winning this game on Sunday. That's how important it is. Can they win without him? Yes, they can. They won a lot without him last year. Can Mayfield be a great quarterback without him? Yes, but not in his physical condition right now with that shoulder problem. So what is the out right now? Can OBJ apologize and get through this thing? It seems like that's gone by the bridge, and that part of the whole situation is gone. That should have been done yesterday probably, and it hasn't been done yet. So now they work out an agreement. The Browns owe him $7.5 million on this year's contract because he's a vested veteran. So the story right now is they could try and work out a reduced number with him, cut him, and send him off to another team. Or if he's insistent on not giving them a reduced rate on that salary and the money owed to him, then the Browns will keep him, but they won't play him. He'll just sit on the sideline. Kind of like what the Cavs did with Kevin Love at a point last season. So that is that. If that is the situation, that is not a good situation for Beckham to sit out the remainder of this year and then try and go sign with a new team next year. There's a lot of bad vibes going on in that situation. That's where we are right now. I don't think you're going to see Odell Beckham Jr. play for the Browns again.
Yeah, I know the Browns are saying one thing, but when it comes to the locker room, is there a divide there, a split as far as you can tell?
He is a very popular player. He's a very charismatic guy. OBJ is a well-liked guy inside that locker room. Not a diva at all. Many times gives the team incredible gifts. I mean, I remember last year, or a couple of years ago, being in the locker room his first year, and he gave them all brand new shoes on a day. He's giving them watches, things like that. That goes well with teammates.
Can he come work for Channel 3?
I think he's available.
He would fit in
yeah,
well
I
here.
think he's available. If there's a split in the locker room, Russ, then that's the end of the season.
Wow.
That will tear a team apart. And I think that's something that the Browns feel that they have their thumb on. I think Kevin Stefanski met with key veterans today. And the most important vet in that situation would be Jarvis Landry. That is OBJ's best friend in the world. I mean, they've grown up together. So he said his team, Stefanski said today, full of professionals, and he's confident that they will be ready to go Sunday to win that game and not worry about this.
Wow. Okay. Here we go.
As the Browns turn on this Wednesday afternoon.
Would have been so much easier me doing the Justin Bibb story.
I know, right? Next time. All right, thanks, Jimmy.
All right. Thank you.
She's very excited to not have to wear a mask anymore.
Well, today is the day that many parents have been waiting for. Kids 5 to 11 can officially get vaccinated against COVID-19.
We know a lot of you have questions about how this is going to work. So our Will Ewick spoke with the experts. He's been working with this all day. Hi, Will.
Yeah, on the phone, making calls all day, spoke with folks at the Cleveland Clinic. UH Metro today also got word from CVS as well. Everyone gearing up as 28 million doses of this 5 to 11-year-old vaccine heads to hospitals all over the country. More than 367,000 doses expected here in Ohio. This is what we have. UH will start administering these shots tomorrow. If your child is a UH patient, you can make the appointment through your pediatrician. Same goes for Cleveland Clinic, which will start vaccinations for kids later this week. Both also plan to set up mass vaccination clinics later this month where non-hospital patients can make appointments to go there. Metro also planning a MaxVax site later this month, working also with school health programs in the area to try to partner with schools. Meanwhile, CVS says they'll be offering the vaccine for kids at more than 40 locations throughout the state. Their shots start on Sunday. You can schedule an appointment through their website or app. Doctors, guys I spoke with, all say this vaccine is effective, thoroughly tested, and very important.
This is something that children are getting sick with. This is something that our, children are ending up in the hospital with. This is something that have killed otherwise healthy children.
We finally have a safe, efficacious, and approved tool which gives us a means and method to prevent those outcomes, prevent that mortality, morbidity from happening.
Now, if you are on the fence, want to know more, everyone I spoke with is recommending you reach out, speak to your pediatrician, get answers, and guys, talk it through with them and make the decision that's best for you and your family.
There's a lot of people who have questions and how things are going to work out with the other vaccinations because, of course, little kids, even 5-year-olds, they have boosters for the previous baby shots and whatnot. So there are questions. And as you said, parents have a lot of them. And we know that there are a lot that you have on your mind. And you may want to hear what other parents are saying, too. So tomorrow night at 7 on Front Row, thank you, Will, by the way, on WKYC.com and on our app, we are answering the questions with a panel of experts. You can send us your questions now by texting them to 216-344-3300.
Now to politics, and as we told you earlier, Cleveland elected a new mayor last night. Perhaps you heard that. Justin Bibb will be sworn in this January. He will be the first new mayor to run the city in some 16 years. Our Mark Namick spoke with him about what his first order of business will be.
I woke up at 5:15 this morning and off, ready to work to build this transition and get going as we approach Inauguration Day. We're going to be making some announcements early next week about our transition team and how we intend to build a new government as we head to next year. I would be remiss about it and say that it's a smart thing for me to tap into the knowledge of not just former Mayor Michael White, but also Mayor Jane Campbell. Will reach out to them as I plan my transition to get their feedback and understand lessons learned. I think my first hire has to be my chief of staff. Next week, I'll probably have a better sense of the top 10 I want to focus on, from our law director to police chief to safety director to our COO as well.
With your election and the passage of issue 24, Has Cleveland overnight become one of the most progressive cities in America? And if so, is that good or bad?
No, I'd say this. There was a broad mandate in the results last night about voters wanting us to have a new conversation and look at new ways to address police misconduct. And this conversation is happening nationally. And I think, we have a unique opportunity right now to tone down the political rhetoric and have an open, honest conversation about how to get policing right. I'm looking forward to reaching out and meeting with leaders of the police union and members of our police department to listen to their concerns, hear their feedback, because I want to fight for them, as well as I want to fight for our residents to make sure we rebuild trust between police and residents, because that's the biggest thing we need to do to have safety all across our city.
You've mentioned before to me that, you do look forward to appointing your own police chief. Would your chief come from somebody within the ranks of the city of Cleveland?
Haven't made that decision yet. But still looking.
It's not out of the question.
No, absolutely not. I think there's a lot of great talent inside our department right now. And I'm going to look far and wide inside our department and nationally for the right chief, not to create a department that's mired in the status quo, but what does our department need to look like for the next 10, 15, 20 years? And I want a chief that's going to work with me as the next mayor to chart that vision. I won't be perfect, but I will listen. I will lead with transparency and integrity. And I believe that's all you can ask for in terms of any elected official.
Mayor-elect Bibb told me today that he did talk to Mayor Frank Jackson today, and the two plan to meet tomorrow. The mayor has pledged a smooth transition and access to all his top directors, and that makes a big difference. And I'll tell you, from covering races and mayors going back 20-some years, that always doesn't happen. And to have that is a good sign for the future of Cleveland, and now it'll be up to Justin Bibb to not miss those opportunities.
Yeah, political novice, new to City Hall. You got to wonder, the folks he's bringing in, are these going to be heavy hitters with experience? Will there be newbies?
Well, and that's the question, because newbies can run a campaign, and they proved it. He showed pictures last night of them, and I think the difference inside a City Hall, where you have dozens of unions, a lot of entrenched, and at times I've referred to them as zombie bureaucrats that you can't get rid of. They do things their way. How they get along with new administrations will be determined, but I think he's going to need a mix, but I think he's going to lean on the younger side.
Gotcha. All right.
Very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Change of the guard. All right, Mark. Thank you. And we have a list of results of more than 100 races and issues at WKYC.com and on our app. Just click the election results story and search for your race.
And coming up next on What's New, it is starting to get chilly out there, and many kids need your help to stay warm. We get behind the scenes today to look at how Codes for Kids operates and how you can help.
And the father of Britney Spears says he wants out now. His reasons for ending her conservatorship early.
And Matt, Coats definitely at the ready with the temperatures that we've had around here lately.
Yeah, for sure, Betsy. We may have some zombie meteorologists around here getting on in the next week, because that's a good thing. It's going to go quiet around here. We've got sunshine and warming temps over the next couple days. Your outdoor fall sports forecast tonight, you're going to need the jacket. You know that. 40s back into the 30s. We do have scattered lake, rain, and snow. That will be on the uptick over the next couple hours. We'll detail who sees that and how warm we get coming up in the forecast.
Hi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Codes for Kids started last week. Okay. Is this 10? Yes. I have not been at the turntable since March. Thank you.
Coats for Kids kicked off its annual campaign this week. WKYC continues to be a proud sponsor. On tonight's education station, January Keaton met up with some folks in the Coats for Kids warehouse as they gear up to get tens of thousands of coats out to schools in time for winter.
You may have already seen the big red bins and barrels around. 2021 marks the 40th year Coats for Kids has been helping school-aged children stay warm in the winter.
So I'd say this year we will probably give away anywhere between 18 to 25,000. We started out a little bit ahead of the game, so we have more to give out this year.
An unexpected plus of the pandemic. Distribution difficulties and students learning at home last winter left more coats available for this winter.
How do we help more kids? Can we get more stuff out there?
Loretta Arnold heads up Cleveland's Coats for Kids warehouse, where deliveries to schools take precedence. When a school places an order, she makes sure the boxes are properly filled.
We literally will go to all those pallets and go, okay, we need so many of these, so many of that.
Colors correspond.
So every school has a different color. Might be that Elmira is orange and A.B. Hart is green.
And tens of thousands of coats make it to the correct schools.
They go on a pallet, they get stickered, they have the school name on them, and then they're loaded on a truck and they're delivered to the schools.
Schools started receiving their boxes this week. Missing was Coats for Kids' most familiar face.
He'll be very difficult to replace.
It's hard to think of Coats for Kids without Mike Trevisano or Triv coming to mind. The beloved Cleveland radio talk show host, staunchly devoted to the charity for decades, died last week.
Everything that we can do to help children, especially now that we've just lost Triv, I think it means that much more to all of us.
74-year-old Triv raised millions of dollars and distributed hundreds of thousands of coats, not just through his radio show.
You know, our hope is that we can build on the strong foundation that he gave us.
But a genuine desire to see that every child stays warm each winter.
I've never felt more love in my heart than to watch a kid get a coat.
Well, from now through the end of the year, you can donate new or gently used winter coats anywhere you see Coats for Kids bins or barrels. Now, they're looking for coats namely for kids in kindergarten through 8th grade. And of course, WKYC, we are proud sponsors. So for more information on all the ways you can donate, go to our website, WKYC.com. Russ.
It is a great organization, and seeing that warehouse with all those boxes in there is really something.
Yeah, they said come next week there will be a mountain of clothes once the donations start coming in. So you ain't seen nothing yet.
That is fantastic. All right, January, thank you so much. Good to see you.
You too.
Well, certainly those coats are needed. Boy, this morning temperatures were down around freezing in many areas, although I think Cleveland stayed just above the freezing mark, but it felt really darn cold outside.
Out there, certainly. Yikes.
Matt, where are we going from here?
Well, colder tonight. Yeah, we got down to 33 at Hopkins last night. I don't know about you guys. I'm just cold to my core. I don't know if it's the last 2 days or what. I just cannot warm up. Need to go run laps around the station or something like that. But we've got warmer days ahead. That's the good news. And, you know, I mentioned it last night. The fall foliage is peaking right now. It just looks so beautiful, especially if you get that sun to shine on it. This weekend going to be perfect for that. But we've got some cold temperatures to get through first. Generally speaking, we're in the 40s outside. We've got low 40s out towards the east, upper 40s to get down to the south. You see that northwest wind not doing us any favors here this evening as it continues to blow in cooler air from Canada. And we're not alone, friends. We've got cold conditions all the way down to the south. Atlanta celebrating their World Series victory at 57 degrees. That's chilly for them. That's more January-like. You notice how that cold air gets all the way down in areas of Louisiana. So it's going to take a while to warm this air mass back up because it's so vast. You can see the big picture. Area low pressure, that's responsible for it up near the Hudson Bay, still continues to spin. This high pressure is a strong one. It's going to take its time getting off towards the east, so we're not seeing a real decent warm-up on the backside quite yet. But again, that will moderate over the next couple days. The lake's still doing their thing with some lake effect rain and snow showers. We've got a little uptick overnight tonight into tomorrow. Reason why, there's a little wave of energy here. You can see it kicking off some of the rain over towards the Fort Wayne area, over towards Toledo. This will move in tonight, and it will kick off some more lake effect rain, even snow showers, and even some of those grapple showers we've had with those Dippin' Dots. Not much doing here this afternoon. Models have done a real nice job at indicating we'd have kind of that lull in activity today. So where do we go from here? National Zymart Hour by our forecast. The clouds will fill in tonight. I think they'll break at times, though. That will allow us to really cool down. Colder tonight than last night. I think we've got a lot of upper 20s as you get down towards Medina, Worcester, Dover, New Philly. You get up towards the lakeshore, a little bit warmer. You can see the lake effect kicking up, mainly wet snows. You get inland. You've got the grapple and rain as you get close to closer to the lakeshore. Could see up to an inch tonight. Again, not too impressive, much like last night. Things really didn't come to fruition. Not expecting a big event out of this tonight. Tomorrow morning, chilly start. Lake effect rain and snow showers will continue, but they will taper down tomorrow. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies, a cold morning Friday morning as well. I think that'll be a real cold spot. So in terms of temperatures, 32 tomorrow at Hopkins, our forecast, 31 Friday. Notice the warm up. In terms of that first freeze, we have not had it yet at Hopkins. Our average first freeze is October 28th, so we're a couple days overdue. Last year and the year before, it was right around November 1st, so this is right where Mother Nature lines up that first freeze. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast, we're up to 49 on Friday. Saturday, 54 with sunshine, and then you don't forget to switch those clocks back. Sunday looking good. We're up near 60 degrees next week. Betsy, a great looking forecast once we get beyond tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that's all right. There's more of that to come. No worries. All right, thanks so much, Matt. Well, we are putting out the call to all Sex and the City fans. You can now stay in Carrie Bradshaw's New York City apartment. We have all the details ahead in Pop Break. Well, guess what, Free Britney fans? Britney Spears' dad wants to end her conservatorship immediately.
Today, Kiara Cotton explains why and has much more in today's Pop Break.
What do we want? Free Britney! The Britney Spears conservatorship saga continues. On Monday, Britney's father, Jamie, filed a petition for the immediate termination of her conservatorship. According to reports, it states that Jamie no longer sees why the conservatorship should continue for any amount of time and asserts that he has no interest in the conservatorship continuing. This news comes just days after Britney's lawyer said that Jamie had ulterior motives for unexpectedly reversing his position. Britney's next court hearing is set for November 12th and is expected to focus on the potential termination of the conservatorship entirely. Actress, singer, and TV personality Keke Palmer is bringing her talents to Disney+. Palmer will serve as the host of Foodtastic, a competition show where teams of artists are tasked with creating larger-than-life, Disney-inspired works of art made out of food. The 11-episode series is coming to the streaming service December 15th. Kiki will also serve as an executive producer on the show. And calling all Sex and the City fans, thanks to Airbnb, you can now stay the night inside of Carrie Bradshaw's infamous apartment. The short-term rental company has teamed up with Warner Brothers to recreate the one-bedroom brownstone in Manhattan. For less than $23 a day, 2 lucky guests will have the chance to book a one-night stay in Carrie's place. Guests will have access to some of Carrie's staples, including her cordless phone, iconic wardrobe. You can even have a Cosmo during your stay. Bookings for the apartment open November 8th at noon. According to reports, Sarah Jessica Parker is expected to virtually greet guests as they arrive. And of course, this is just a reminder for their reboot coming out later this year. Back to you guys.
All right, Kira, thank you. Well, coming up for us in the next half hour of What's New, OBJ's dad is pointing fingers at Baker. Plus, the star player was excused from practice. Jim Donovan has the latest on the drama going down with the Browns.
Then kids as young as 5 can get vaccinated, but not all parents are on board. We'll tell you what many are saying and where you can get the vaccine if you want it.
Then improving connectivity in Cleveland and how NASA believes lunar mission planning can help. We'll see on the flip.
Yes, I do.
Just found that one.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We begin at 5:30 with 3 things you need to know. First, the city of Cleveland elected its first new mayor for the first time in 16 years. Justin Bibb will replace Mayor Frank Jackson in January. He told our Mark Namick this afternoon that he plans to announce key hires and which departments he plans to focus on first next week. We'll have more on Bibb's plan as mayor tonight on What Matters Most at 6.
Well, this morning, 3 News was at Hopkins Airport as Shontel Brown left for D.C. Last night, she won the 11th Congressional District seat. She'll replace Marcia Fudge, who left 8 months ago to become U.S. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Brown was a Cuyahoga County councilwoman and chair of the Democratic Party before beating Nina Turner in the race.
And today, ODOT had the ribbon cutting for the Opportunity Corridor. The road project links I-90 to University Circle in Cleveland. It's a 3-mile boulevard that will run from East 55th at I-90 to East 105th. That area had been known as the Forgotten Triangle because of the lack of economic activity. Developers hope this will lead to new jobs and development for the area. It is expected to open next week.
And that will help a lot of traffic issues as well. And with all of that, we welcome you back to What's New on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, albeit a little bit chilly.
It's that. That is true.
Russ Mitchell sitting in for Jay once again. My name, Betsy Kling, and boy, the drama with the Browns.
Oh, yeah. Last half hour, we've referred it to as the Browns' turn.
Yeah.
I like as sands through the hourglass.
Yes.
So go the Browns of our lives.
Right?
What do you think about
as
that?
As footballs through the fingertips. That's too soon. Too soon. All right. Well, we obviously begin with developing news from the Cleveland Browns. As, of course, Odell Beckham Jr.'s father posting videos, and there's finger pointing, and everybody's speaking out. Jimmy Donovan, voice of the Browns, joining us now with more on all of this. How do you keep track of all this, first of all?
You know, I've been keeping track of this one since the night that they pulled the trade with the New York Giants to get OBJ, because OBJ is this kind of a player. I mean, he's been a simmering pot that sometimes boils over. In New York, he boiled over a lot to the point they said, let's trade him. Here in Cleveland, we have been so vigilant about how does he feel? Does he like it here? Is he getting the ball enough? And I think it just has really worn thin. I think his days with the Browns are over. And as we talk here right now, I think that is being negotiated out in Berea with OBJ, with his representatives, and with Andrew Berry. How did we get here? We got here yesterday when not OBJ, but OBJ's dad put out this video on social media showing the occurrences all season long since OBJ got back from that torn ACL, where he's wide open on plays and the ball does not go his way. It's interesting what was left out of the piece, the drops that he had in some of the games, too. For instance, in this game in L.A., a huge drop that cost them the football game. But anyway, I mean, that's what a dad does. He protects his son. But it's what his dad went on to say in the video when he said that really this was deliberate, that Baker doesn't want OBJ on the team. So to that point today, the Browns were furious, called OBJ this morning and said, do not come to Berea, do not come to Browns practice on the week of the biggest game of the season. So where do we go from here? How do they get rid of OBJ? What is the exit plan? They owe him $7.5 million. They'll negotiate that right now, try and get that number down and maybe cut him and let him go to another team. The Saints and Raiders are interested. Or if he wants all the money, they'll pay him the money, but they just won't play him. The guy who's been caught in the middle of this is Baker Mayfield. And all of a sudden, he's wondering, how did this all go off the tracks? And here he is today.
I can put my ego and pride to the side to win, because that's all I care about is winning. But if not, then we'll roll with the guys we have out there. And those guys will know that I completely trust them, and they'll know that I'm always here for them. And that's the leader, and that's the type of quarterback I am.
The trading deadline hit yesterday at 4 o'clock. Remember, that video came out before that. That's interesting and that's important. The Browns had a proposed trade, reports say, with the New Orleans Saints yesterday afternoon to trade Beckham there. He wanted to go there. He's from there. And the Saints right now look like a playoff team. But the Browns wanted the Saints to pick up a huge chunk of that salary. And reports say they wanted a second-round draft choice, and the Saints said no on that. At that point, then, OBJ really boiled over because he felt he was stuck here. So right now, the Browns worry about this, the health of Baker Mayfield to get through the rest of the season, and specifically Sunday against the Bengals. They need this game on Sunday, and they worry about a split in that locker room. OBJ is very, very popular. He's got a lot of friends on that team. If they side with him and they go against the team and Baker Mayfield, let's say, that's the end of the season.
That's tough.
And that's where we are.
And they're willing to eat $7 million. That's how serious this is.
And I thought I was going to get to go say goodbye to Chantel Brown this morning.
You're a little busy. You can call her.
All right. I will.
Thank you, Jimmy.
You got it.
Now to our top talker. Today is a day that many parents of school-age kids have been waiting for, the first opportunity to get kids 5 to 11 years old vaccinated against coronavirus.
That's right. The CDC gave the green light yesterday. Now, understandably, there are parents that are still cautious about the shot for youngsters. And Sarah Shookman joins us now with more on all of this. It's pretty divided, I think. There are parents who are ready to go. Let's do this. And then there's some that are going, all right, pump the brakes just a little bit. We need more information.
Yeah, some that have not made decisions yet, some that think that they have and will opt out. But we've been hearing from all these parents for quite some time. And we know that for some of you, you've been waiting for this day, at least since you got your shot, wondering when your little ones could get protection from COVID as well, especially through the increasing counts of kids infected in the last Delta wave. Well, around the country and here in Northeast Ohio, those shots are arriving. And those very first doses are being administered to eager families. Cleveland Clinic sent us some video of its doses being moved into freezers on campus and says it will be vaccinating kids in regularly scheduled appointments. At UH, they will start administering shots tomorrow. Now, this is the same Pfizer stuff that adults got, but at a third of the dose. And it's also administered to kids, those younger kids, with a smaller needle. And like adults, they will need 2 doses, 21 days apart. For families with immune-compromised kiddos, it is a huge relief to finally get to this step.
I know I'm going to be very emotional and I'm going to be very excited. And Cece's probably going to be a little nervous. You know, she's seen a lot of needles over the past couple of years, and doctors' offices are still scary places for her, but I'm sure she's very excited to not have to wear a mask anymore.
Cece Kamechik is recovering from leukemia, and she'll be getting her shot soon with her hematologist at Cleveland Clinic. Now, hers is about 1/3 of parents of kids in this age group who say they will get their kids vaccinated right away. The Kaiser Family Foundation study found, though, about another third will wait and see, and a third are likely to opt out. They say they will. Now, the CDC's independent panel unanimously approved this vaccine, finding far greater risk of a child getting COVID and becoming seriously ill than any risk from the vaccine itself, which was shown to be highly effective and have very few side effects, especially at this lower dose. So we've been checking on where to find them, where you can get one if you do want one for your kids and get that appointment. And Will Uick's going to walk us through some of that at 6 o'clock. But we know parents have so many questions still, especially that third in the undecided group, we'll call them, you know. So tomorrow night, we are dedicating Front Row to the issue. Monica, Jimmy, and I are going to have some regional experts in, kind of answering your questions live on the air and also in a digital special, just to help to address, you know, those concerns that parents do have that are very legitimate out there.
And I always find it interesting when I watch shows like that or I listen in on things like that. There are parents who ask questions that I didn't think about, and I go, oh, that's a good one. Yeah, what is that? So it's one of those things, like, even if you don't have a question that you have contributed, still listen, because there are things that we'll tack on that is definitely going to get your interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a busy half hour tomorrow, certainly.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sarah. Still ahead tonight, we continue to follow the latest on Odell Beckham Jr. after he's excused for now. And of course, a lot of you have reaction. We'll see some of your comments coming up.
Plus, I am excited to tell you all about how NASA is helping to close the digital divide here in Cleveland.
I'm excited to tell you that Matt has your weather in a jiffy. Hi, Matt.
I can tell, Russ. I know you've been waiting for this all day.
Woo.
So I've got a prop for this one. That's how much, I mean, we're getting to the end of the gifts, right? So this is how I think everyone's going to feel about our 7-day forecast. He's having a good bite of that 7-day. It's looking good. Can't even read my writing.
Tasty.
Anyway, we'll share it with you next. Oh, so good.
I do have you, and what is clicking in Cleveland today is a bunch of Browns fans with a bunch of opinions about Odell Beckham Jr. Okay.
It is coming up on 5:42 on this Wednesday afternoon. Matt, Jay will be back on Monday, I believe. Do you miss that weather word? I can make something up if you do.
This has been a great week, Russ. I'm telling you, it's been just fantastic. I've been able to focus on the forecast. I don't trip going over to the green screen, so.
Getting sleep at night and all that good stuff?
I miss Jay, but Russ, you're doing just great.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay with this. You're going to go somewhere, kid.
Wow,
You'll
thanks.
be great.
Coming from you, my friend. Means a lot.
Right. You know what, Russ, one of the things that we're all going to be dealing with over the next couple of days is that chill, especially early in the morning hours. I think tonight we get down into the 20s, especially outlying locations. And then we do it all over again Friday morning. Now, in terms of average highs, we are not there today. We are below average. You can tell that. 57 is our average high today. By next Wednesday, notice the drop. This is our quickest cooling time of the year. We're losing about 3 degrees per week. So by the end of the month, we're in the 40s, typical around Thanksgiving. Then we're in the mid 40s as we get into the month of December. Make sure my clicker's still working here. Might have put a couple extra keyframes in that frame there, Betsy. But you can see over the next couple days what we've got going on across the U.S. This is a warming pattern. The blues are below average. That's where we are right now. But by next week, we're getting into a warming trend across the eastern half of the country that takes us from not just below average to well above average. That's why we've got 50s and 60s in the forecast. Not today, though. We're in the 40s, generally speaking. Lake water temperatures still running above average. You can see overnight tonight we're back into the 30s. I think 20s as you get inland. Thing you're missing here if you're out in the snow belt, some rain and snow. We've got another dose of that'll be moving in here over the next couple hours. Not much doing right now. We have a little bit of grapple, mainly some rain as you get towards the lakeshore and Lake County right now. Some of that scattered activity getting ready to move into Erie County as well. But the bigger picture off towards the west, a little area of energy that's going to move through. That will help kickstart Lake Erie once again tonight. So more rain and snow. Up to an inch out in the snow belt. Maybe Geauga County. We'll see where these bands persist. Overall, not a big deal. Could see some heavier rates from time to time, but by November standards, this isn't going to be much of an event. You see overnight tonight with your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast, banding taking place off towards the north. Elsewhere, we've got partly cloudy skies, a very chilly start tomorrow. Tomorrow's sunrise is at 8:01 or 8:02. There's only 5 days out of the year that we have a sunrise beyond 8 o'clock, and this is day number 3 before we switch the clocks back. So, if you're getting up in the morning, it's so dark at 8 o'clock, we'll switch them back. We don't get there again this year. So 5 days out of the year beyond 8. And then we'll warm things up tomorrow to a balmy 45, 46 degrees. Should have some sunshine, still some lingering lake effect. Friday's when we'll really flip the switch and we'll have more sunshine as we get in the afternoon. Bigger picture, we go quiet over the weekend. The west turns active. Big storms on the west coast resume. They'll have lots of heavy rain and mountain snow out there. Nothing doing all the way through the weekend. By next week, we'll bring a system out in the Plain States, and that's when we turn active again. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. 40s the next 2 days. We're up into the 50s on Saturday. Don't forget to switch those clocks back or let them go back automatically. 58 on Sunday. Then we're talking 60s next week. Should be a delightful switch in the pattern. Betsy.
That's right. This is the time change everybody likes because you get to sleep.
That's right. Extra hour.
All right, thanks so much, Matt. Well, right now, speaking of time, it is time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. And for that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi there, Stephanie.
Hi, Betsy. You know, today Browns fans have a lot to say about Odell Beckham Jr. for sure being excused from practice today, and that what that can mean for his future. A huge group are saying that OBJ is all drama and a major distraction, and they hope this means he won't be on the team much longer. Others say OBJ isn't the problem, that Baker Mayfield isn't hitting the mark with lots of players, and the coaching team really botched this call. And somewhere in the middle, another big group says it just doesn't work out sometimes, and the Browns and OBJ will be better off on their own, like a breakup. No matter where you fall, we will probably know soon what's really up with OBJ's roster spot in Cleveland. We do know that one Ohio guy has parted ways with Michelle Young on The Bachelorette, but one continues on. Rick Leach and Spencer Williams were both part of a group date on Tuesday's episode themed around the new Top Gun movie. They had to declare their love for Michelle Young while in one of those spinning training things, the things they have these guys do. It was Rick who got asked to stick around during the elimination ceremony. The same, however, cannot be said for Spencer. Here is him reacting to getting sent home while watching back at home.
Come on! Give me a rose!
Oh, he wanted that rose, but he was a class act telling Michelle she's amazing and he hopes she finds what she's looking for. Michelle thanked him and sent him on his way. But the silver lining is he got to go home to his 3-year-old son back here in Cleveland. Look at that cutie. And Russ and Betsy, here's some more Bachelor Nation news. They are filming reportedly 2 Bachelor seasons back-to-back, so calls are being renewed for Akron's Michael Allio to be the next Bachelor.
Wouldn't that be drama? They'd have to bring the show back here to Northeast Ohio, obviously.
They would. That's what he said, because he's got a little boy too.
Right.
Wow.
All the dates we could set them up on.
I know.
Oh, I got nothing here. So, if you talk 90 Day Fiance, I can talk to you about that all day long. But The Bachelor, I'm stumped. I'm
You were
sorry.
spilling all the secrets on this show.
I am going to regret it all, but it's all good. It's all good.
We'll get you up to speed. We'll get it on your Hulu feed, Rick.
Thanks so much,
Thank
Stephanie. All right, coming up next, there is always something interesting happening over at NASA Glenn, but not all of their projects are out of this world. Their plans to help get Clevelanders connected is coming up.
Then Dogs at Work, which local company welcomed employees' 4-legged friends, and which charity benefited from that. We'll tell you when we come back.
Let's take a little time to chat about the internet. We use it for everything: grocery shopping, email, social media, job hunting, you name it, we use it. And some of you may be using it to watch us right now. In fact, the average person spends 7 hours on the internet every single day. So imagine now, if you didn't have the internet, what did you do today that you could not have done without your digital connection? Well, that is a reality that's facing a lot of Clevelanders. And the pandemic really highlighted the stark disparity between those who are connected and those who aren't. But getting everyone online is harder than you think. And it's going to take community collaboration and some creative engineering. But it isn't rocket science, or is it?
While there are several ways to get on the internet, including hotspots and cell phone data, more than 20% of Cuyahoga County has no access to the stronger and more reliable broadband in-home connectivity that's standard. This is the digital divide.
The digital divide is an issue that has perplexed not only our community, but it holds back the growth and prosperity of our region.
The Greater Cleveland Partnership is working with other community organizations to address the digital divide. The plan is to bring a strong Wi-Fi network to neighborhoods where the digital infrastructure is lacking. But how to apply technology to get people connected is a daunting problem, unless you have NASA in your town.
Glenn Research Center is all about technologies, propulsion, power, communications.
Among the many teams working at NASA Glenn is a group of engineers in the Compass Lab. Their job is to apply technology to concepts and create designs in a short amount of time. Among the almost 200 projects they've completed, they've drafted a variety of spacecraft and satellites, rovers, and a communication network for a moon base, which would be kind of like a neighborhood.
We basically developed the model for Earth, how it works in a neighborhood, providing both outdoor and indoor internet, and then how would you provide that for the moon, and how are they different, how are they the same? And they said that we could use that same expertise that they had that mapped the terrain of the lunar surface to understand how poles and Wi-Fi routers and broadband transmitters would have to be configured to put an overlay of that onto Cuyahoga County.
And the results?
We actually looked at using a big tower, but it turns out it's better just to put little Wi-Fi repeaters on all these little habitats, and people can walk around and do what they need to do.
Around 20,000 small Wi-Fi routers attached to lampposts or other utility poles less than 100 yards apart would provide enough connectivity to put everyday online tasks within reach. It's an out-of-this-world opportunity to narrow the digital divide and keep us all connected.
Cuyahoga County is currently evaluating 9 different proposals from companies to help expand broadband availability through the community. So this is actually happening. And the goal is to not only deliver Wi-Fi, but also provide much needed support to help people connect. And there's some groups out there that we've helped as well, PCs and people and whatnot, that are trying to get used PCs into homes that don't have any PCs or connectivity. I mean, think about it this way. Have you, when you apply for a job, think about filling out a job application on this screen versus this screen. It's a lot easier with this, but this can't get online without that in-home Wi-Fi.
That is fascinating. And of course, the digital divide, which you talked about there, certainly is a real thing.
Yep.
And when you think about the time you spend on the internet, it's not just going on your computer, your phone. You know, Wi-Fi, connected to Wi-Fi, you're on the internet. So it has become just so important.
And
to our everyday
when
lives.
the pandemic hit and the kids all had to stay home and do school, now you've got mom working from home, dad maybe working from home, the kids all trying to do school, and there's just not enough broadband connectivity to enable everybody to do that. So it became almost like they had to parse it out a little bit.
And some kids could not take advantage of that because they did not have
They
any
didn't have
connectivity
anything
at all. Fascinating stuff, Betsy. Wow. Coming up next on What's New, these pups got to hang out with their owners at work, and it was all for a good cause. We'll tell you which local charity is benefiting from the Bring Your Dog to Work Day.
Then coming up on What Matters Most at 6, we'll hear more from Jimmy about OBJ being excused from practice as Coach Stefanski and Baker Mayfield also weigh in.
Today's show is something good comes from Eaton, which is in Beechwood. Employees got to bring their fur babies to work with them today. Each person who brought their pet paid a small donation, which will support the company's United Way campaign. The dogs were greeted with treats. The company even had a photo area set up for owners to take pictures with their dogs. That's very nice. They dressed them up. Look at them.
Everybody's being so well behaved, too.
They are.
That's really great to see. And I'm talking about the dogs, not the owners, by the way.
Okay. Glad you clarified that, Betsy.
Just kidding. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon for What's New. We'll be back again tomorrow.
That's right. What Matters Most with myself and Lena Louise Live. I just made that totally up. That's coming up next. It's right now.
Now at 6, breaking Browns news. Odell Beckham Jr. excused from practice today. His future with the team very much in the air. The voice of the Browns, Jimmy Donovan, breaks down the latest drama in Berea. And meet the mayor-elect. A new era in Cleveland politics begins as we sit down with Justin Bibb, what he thinks it will take to make the newly passed Issue 24 a success. Vaccine available.
I really wanted to get vaccinated so I wouldn't get COVID.
Hours after CDC approval, younger children are now getting a COVID-19 shot, and parents have plenty of questions about what to expect. And opportunity knocks.
And it's finally here to bring new economic development, new jobs, and a new identity to the community.
After 20 years of planning, the ribbon is finally cut on ODOT's new Opportunity Corridor.
From the WKYC Studios.